Welcome to Altenberg in Germany. It's the third stop in the FIBT Viessmann 4-man bobsled World Cup Tour. Sunday, it's cold and windy, just a hint of snow in the air in Altenberg, but conditions are ideal for our second and deciding run here. Hello everybody, Martin Haven, and alongside me John Morgan, ready at trackside at what used to be a secret DDR training facility, John.
Yeah, this track was built back in the early 80s. I was first here in 87 when it's still behind the Iron Curtain. And this track, what Darlington is to NASCAR, this track is to bobsledding. Here's the guy who's the favorite in the race, Max Arndt, the guy who's already won once in the Tour this year. He's on his home track. He's on his way to be the leader, or at least the second place. He crashes down at 13-14. Boy, did this hush this local crowd. When you have the favorite in the competition crash, that tells you all the problems that this track presents.
Well, there he is being helped up by the doctor, concussed after the first heat. He won't start, but Germany still have two cards in the top three.
And Francisco Friedrich, now he won the two-man event in Lake Placid. He crashed in four-man. I've never seen so many Germans crash in a season of my life as I've seen so far this season. Friedrich didn't drive so well. Good start time, and he's in a medal position, third place.
2300ths off the leader, 1400ths off the leader is this man, Oskars Melbardis. Looked like he was going to go into the second heat as our leader right towards the end of the draw. Great run from the Latvian.
Great eyes and hands. This guy's developing from a powerful starting athlete to one of the best drivers in the world. But boy, Nico Valter, local Altenberg guy, won his first medal ever yesterday in the sport. A bronze here on his home track in front of his family and friends, and here in the 17th start position. He comes down, posts the best time. I can only say, if he would have started third or fourth, he might have a half-second lead.
Well, he had the track that had already been gouged by the crash, so he definitely had a slight disadvantage. However, he is our race leader from Oskars Melbardis and Francesco Friedrich. And the Canadians and Americans, Justin Cripps and Stephen Holcomb, 7th and 8th, the best for their two nations. It's been a while since the Canadians have raced here, since 2010. Chris Spring crashed in training here 2011, and he is back and trying to race into the top 10. Well, this is a track that really rewards the driver. It's like all great racetracks. There's that frisson of danger. You know if you get it wrong here, John, it's gonna hurt. And that makes getting it right so much more of an achievement for the drivers.
Well, there's fine lines here for success and errors. And let me tell you, Max Arndt was going for that fine line. He was 1500ths behind, 1000ths behind, then 600ths behind, and when he crashed, he could have been the leader or at least in second place.
Well, he is still in the lineup because the sled did cross the finishing eye, but Dorin Grigore will be the first off the hill. Arndt has been withdrawn by the German team, understandably. Oh. That means Alexei Stulnev and the rest will follow on. Down to Nico Valter, who will be the last man to go, and he'll be praying that the track holds up to give him the speed he needs to win here. Dorin Grigore of Romania, the 29-year-old from Bucharest. First World Cup start for the Romanians here this weekend. They stayed in Europe pre-Christmas, didn't go to Calgary, didn't go to Lake Placid.
Well, the best highlight of the weekend for the Romanians is their Romanian team finishing 8th in women's bobsled. And boy, did that blow up Facebook. Boy, there was...
Outstanding result for them. They're trying to conquer the Europa Cup, the second tier of sliding as well, but they'll rejoin the World Cup in St. Moritz.
Okay, here's 4-5, the first real big challenge for these sleds. Nice crossover. A lot of problems there in the first run for almost every sled that came down. These four-man sleds are like big trucks compared to the sports car two-mans. Big trucks are hard to get in trouble, but when they get in trouble, watch out.
Little Meadow drive in this second heat from Dorin Grigore.
Ooh, that's not good.
There you are, just cursed him. Out of 11-12 clean.
Here's where the crashes were, 13-14. He's no problem through there. Nice lines, little tap, speeds. They'll see bigger speeds than this. So you're seeing 126 down there. 55.00, and that's 3:38 better than his first run.
Well, that shows two things. First of all, he's got a feel for the track now after it was very wet in the two-man race, felt utterly different. And secondly, the track is holding up. They've had another half-hour re-preparation, so it'll be fast and hard ice.
I'm seeing some snow flurries out there as
Yeah,
we walk
a few
down.
little flakes.
It's a little colder here. Ice is firmer. Now, we always say, look for the heads, look for the shoulders, look for the air going over behind the driver. He's sitting up pretty high, right at the point of his helmet. Some guys, you'll see him with their eyes just barely over the cowling. Here's the exit into the crowds. Look at the red flag here in the end. That's what they tell the athletes. You see that red flag, you better get out of here.
Yeah.
He gets out here a little late. That's not the way you want to exit on the bottom part of the track. And boy, these next couple corners, not only pivotal for your time, but there's a good chance you're crashing down here if you don't have a good line.
Dorian Grigore of Romania is our race leader with 18 sleds to go. So next up is Alexei Stolnev, the 27-year-old from Pavlovsk in Russia, 13th and 14th in the 2 World Cup races in North America. So he's underperforming a little here, only in 17th after the first heat.
Yeah, surprised he's this far back. He had the 14th best start time. Ooh, that's not good. Little wavering there. 5:27 start. That 600 is better than their first run. Russians, every one of them that comes into the headshot. We ask them what was their sport back there. Every one of them. Athletics, 100 and 200 meter sprinters. It's just, you can't get on the team unless you got a 100 or 200 meter background. Up, good speed.
Speed's the same as the Romanian sled, but they had a quicker start.
Clean lines.
Better speed on the exit.
Watch out, this is the spot. Clean. Next marked. Fifth's 124.8. Again, we're going to see probably 126 before we're done here. We should. 54.89.
It's a much better drive from him.
2200's better.
Yeah. Didn't make the big improvements to the Romanians. Brakes on hard. That's the only time you're allowed to brake after the finish line. They're just to slow the sled down. When you're racing, like with cars, you don't want to slow it down any more than you have to.
Look at this crowd on hand, great. Look at the crossover here. Look at these pictures. Look at the guys behind getting bounced around. Look at the sled, the articulation of the sled. The articulation provides the sled to walk on and off the curves, on the take-on where you get on the outlet where you get off. And now look at here, exit, want to see everything coming out is straight, all the energy. He's on the right side, he should be on the left side of the screen. So you see him coming over to get on the take-on, but he's in a skid across the ice. And that's friction, that's not good for your bottom time.
70 miles an hour, hard to make those transitions smoothly. It's all about timing this track, and timing escaped Nick Cunningham from corner 4 on down in the first heat. 29-year-old soldier from Monterey, California with his crew. Fastest US start, but slowest run.
.522 in the first run, which is 7th best start, pretty good. The other American sleds were like 13 and 12, 27, 500 slower, that's not good. Cunningham hit everything in sight in the first run on his night train sled. Had dinner last night with these guys, James Reed's parents, James Reed's father's an Army guy, stationed in Garmisch, retired. So sat down with them, a nice conversation.
500's up on the Russian.
Number 2 guy, Casey Rickline from Greenville, South Carolina, firefighter. Boy, this ain't good.
Speed is not good, 151.
Oh! This is, Nick Cunningham has not had any feel for this track.
Well, first weekend ever on ice here as a driver. He competed here once as a brakeman.
He's carving up, he's using the whole track.
Right, he's just trying to get down. He's riding the wild bull. That's what he learned to do in college, and he gets it down. He's not in the lead,
Coach
the Russians are.
Coach Brian Scheimer looks on. That's some horrific ride, Nick. He knows it. Look at him shake his head.
Buries his head.
This crowd is as educated as the Montreal Forum when the people are watching hockey. These people know bobsledding. Watch these pictures. Now, he should hit the bottom part of this DKB sign. He's not. He's too high there. Now the sled's going to have to come back up. Down, centrifugal force brings it back up, but he's too high here. All the other runner marks are 3-4 inches lower. He's almost on the wood. Now watch what happens on the outlet. Or this is later on. This is the skid. His problems just compounded all the way down. He's lucky he didn't crash there in 13.
Jasmine Fenlater down there helping out. This will be a day to forget for Nick Cunningham. Next up is Simone Bertazzo of Italy, the 32-year-old from Italy's German-speaking mountain region, the Sud Tirol. First World Cup race of the season for him. Go on, says Coach Graham Richardson. They need a bit more go at the start.
Slowest start in the first run of 19 sleds. 5:41 there, 5:47 in the second run, which is an improvement. And Bertazzo, of the final 10 sleds down the track, he had the best speed of that second group in the bottom because he's as experienced as it gets.
Former race winner at World Cup level in two-man. Best ever World Cup result in a four-man is only in 8th place, though. Good speed.
18 to 17. Perfect lines down here, give him a chance. Look at the head snapping. This team is way up too high. So the number 2 man is just way too. Watch the number 2 man's helmet. See it? He's almost as high as the driver. He's got to be tucked in down there. So this is a makeshift team thrown in. Hope they fit in the sled compared to the good people who, look at this, he got it all the way back down to 5. Good teams fit themselves into the sled in wind tunnel testing in the summer.
Well, that's a work in progress, and often you'll find new athletes coming in towards the winter who are less experienced. You have to jostle them around. Sometimes you just move them in the sled. That's all that it takes. Go from 2 to 3.
Look at the holes in the push bar. That's to get the weight out of the sled. Get in, get down, cat-like movements. A couple rugby players in this sled. Boy, but the number. Watch the heads here. Look how high. Look at the guy hanging out there. I mean, he's not even, you got to get tucked in there. This is about aerodynamics. This isn't about a tourist ride, but of course, he probably doesn't fit. I mean, all 3 guys are big.
Konstantin Ugi had trouble getting in. Maybe he didn't get his feet around the driver.
Yeah. Good point.
I think he's sitting there cannonball with his knees in his chest, and that's not a comfortable way to ride either. Well, Benny Meyer of Austria next up, the 20-year-old from Hall in Tyrol, younger brother of Raphael, who slides for the Austrian skeleton team. Their dad's the bobsleigh coach. This is the family business. Junior is joining.
Esterhammer is a football player. Samantha's a rugby player, but Esterhammer played a lot of American football. He was over about 6-8 years ago playing one of those the European League teams. Meyer, young. Good exit, 4 to 5. The Austrians have retooled their program. They've got some pretty good young developing athletes, and they're starting to come out of those development programs like we're seeing right here. 1600s down. Needs to be perfect. I don't think he cares. He just wants to get to the bottom and get Altenberg in his rear view mirror, like a lot of athletes.
Misses out being the youngest driver in the field by just 3 months to Cody Basky of the USA, but 2 20-year-olds competing at the elite level shows how young you need to start this sport really to get into it.
Yeah, the Russians move up 3 places. You expect that. Still, he's got a lot of experience.
Needed to be higher than 17th just for his
we might not see him again. He might be sent off tour.
Well, the gaps are pretty close. I mean, he was only 600ths behind Benny Meyer in the first heat, so looking at some very tiny margins for error there. Alexei Stulnev leads from Simone Bertazzo. Benny Meyer lies in 3rd.
There's the exit of 9. Again, you know, he's tapping, but this is the aerodynamic education. Can we see anybody back there? We see some shoulders. He's adrift down the straightaway, and then into the Kreisel. Watch, look at the heads. That's the G-forces, about 4 Gs of force here. He's up too high. You got to feel yourself around in the back of those, riding behind that driver. You got to feel for what's going on. Upper runner pressure. So if you come off on 2 runners like we saw Nick Cunningham, you want to put upper runner pressure, flatten that sled out.
Loic Costeg of France from La Plagne, where we head at the beginning of February with Romain Heinrich, Vincent Castel and Jérémy Bouterin behind him. Bruno Mijon in the black jacket at the back. Olympic bronze medalist in four-man in Nagano 98.
Start time not very good. 16th best start in the first run and just 100th better here in the second run, but didn't drive that bad of a line down the track. French have been really absent without a good athlete in the front seat since the legendary Bruno Mijon, who's coaching him, as we've discussed. Mijon was just a speed merchant.
Costeg is definitely starting to mature as a driver. This is now his 4th season, and he's got good lines here.
Watch out, that's not good. Get through here, look at the head snapping late.
Just dropped to fraction behind the Russians, 124.2. The Russians 124.8. He's not going to have enough. So he's going to slip back into third place. Well, tied for second, in fact, with Simone Bertazzo. Remember, Bertazzo in the two-man race missed the lead by 400s. That dropped him 4 spots. We're seeing the same thing here.
Pretty close racing here in the lady in black track, as we like to describe it. Well, they're happy to pack up and go, I can tell you that. In cat-like movements, get down with precision. I always like to say these aren't cats, these are jaguars.
Yeah, these are big cats.
Big cats. Get in, look at the runner tips here. Look at the, now this is where the upper runner pressure is. You got to feel yourself. Look, everybody tilting the wrong way. I mean, that's the pressure of the curve. But look at the way the sled was, the articulation was maxed on 11-12.
Alexei Stulnev of Russia, our race leader. Altenberg, Germany, 3rd stop in the FIBT Viessmann four-man bobsleigh World Tour. And this is rookie Maxim Adrianov, the young Russian, making his first ever World Cup start in two-man and four-man this weekend, lies just off the top 10. Martin Haven and John Morgan calling the action, and John, this young crew, or the young driver and his veteran crew, they were the fastest starters, and they go quickest again for the Russians. Yeah,
well, like we said, the Russians come in, we ask them all their bio information, and what sport did you come from? 100-meter sprint, 200-meter sprint. It's like a prerequisite for the Russian program that they are deep. Zakharov, who's 4th in World Cup points after the North American Tour, he's not even on tour here. They've got him out in the Europa Cup. So they're finding 5 or 6 drivers, and they're going to pick top 2 or 3 to go forward.
Good lead over his teammate Alexei Stulnev of half a second.
Yeah, this guy's impressive. First time we've ever seen him.
He's doubling his lead from the first heat over Stulnev. So it wasn't a flash in the pan.
Look at his speed.
This boy's got speed and consistency here. So that's a really nice run.
Wow,
54.5, 3,400's better than his first slide.
Track's getting a little quicker, but there's going to be that point where it comes where the track doesn't give up any more time. Usually about 10 sleds in. We're about 8.
He would have been knocking on the top 6 with that run in the first heat.
Yeah, it's colder. Look at the people. They're all dressed up. Look at the lines. Look at the heads in there. Good aerodynamic profile. Exit here, 14. See some shoulders back there on the right.
He started very late in the draw as well. He was the penultimate sled, so he's got better ice in this second heat than he had in the first.
He took advantage of it, too.
Didn't he, though?
Look at the speed and the finish. Boy, he's even better than Bertazzo, the veteran.
Maxim Adrianov. We're going to look at that name.
Yeah, keep this guy in mind here as we go forward.
So Russian 1-2 with 11 sleds still to come. And Chris Spring returns to the track that tried to kill him back in 2011. A training crash put him and the rest of the four-man crew into hospital, and many months of recuperation. Spring is ready to race. Lyndon Rush and Stefan Bosch behind, coaching. Derek Plug, Alexander Kopacs and Josh Kirkpatrick behind him.
Derek Plug, obviously a Canadian, so he's a hockey player, but he also did that Red Bull crash ice thing.
Oh, yeah.
Derek Plug was here on the venue when Chris Spring crashed, but was not in the sled. Boy, I visited Chris Spring in the hospital in Dresden a couple days later. I said to myself, he's never going to be bobsledding again. The guy was at the track a month later, walking around with a cast on competition the following year. Boy, the statement he made to us on Facebook earlier in the week, this guy's fearless.
Yep, never look back, and he's not going to let this track get the better of him either.
He's got the mindset to be a bobsledder. He's way behind here, though. The Russians put a smoking run in. This might be good enough for top 3, top 2. Yeah,
second place. Well, listen, this weekend is not about the result. The result for Spring is coming back to Altenberg and getting back on the horse that threw him.
He beat the track there.
Yes, he did.
The last time I was here, the track beat him up.
Next time he'll come back to race. This time he comes back to complete the job from 2011. Well, the fans will all know the story of Chris Spring and his team's crash. And may not be the best drive he'll ever have here, but it's better than last time. High onto the Kreisel, has to haul it down. He saw the tail skid there as he really put on the steering pressure in that first heavy G.
There's the
pull.
exit of Kreisel. That's the flag where they tell him to start to dive out of here. This is 11-12, right below the Kreisel. And look at these pictures. Look at the sled split now. Again, I keep talking about the articulation. That's because he has to steer to get off this tight little counter curve. He's got a skid going. That's not the way you want to look at the next curve. Hey, Chris.
Thank you, Altenberg. Thanks very much for the support here, guys. It's been a blast. See you next year.
Says it all.
Maxim Adrianov of Russia is our race leader with our first sleds completely down the course safely. 10 to go, still in Altenberg. But final 10 sleds, we've had plenty of drama already. Doesn't look like there's enough snow really to have any impact on the track. It would need to be a lot heavier, as it was when we came here 2 years ago. Remember, we had a one-heat race in the 4-man because it just dumped snow all day. They're still patching up those gouges from Max Arndt's crash. Like finishing off drywall, isn't it? Plastering there. Don't forget, you can catch up with all the action. You can re-watch all the races this season whenever you want, on demand, on YouTube at Bobsleigh and Skeleton TV. Visit our Facebook page. We talk to the athletes and show you a little bit behind the scenes. They're starting to get a little bit used now to John and I sneaking up and taking pictures of them and doing the videos. And of course, at FIBT.com, you can find out all you need to know about the sport, the rules, the athletes, the history.
Snow coming in.
Yeah, just a little.
Surprised they even allowed the commercial break here, which for the broadcasters to readjust. There's our Russians that, hey, this is a Russian rookie. Had a pretty good weekend here. And
yeah, Maxim Adrianov, that's him in the white hat. I think he might be a name to conjure with. Some of the sponsors got a group of fans down here, or a group of guests down here, becoming fans fast.
Yeah, there's snow coming in now.
Again, it's still very light, and it's cold. It's still -2, -3 out, so it'll be quite icy and gritty rather than wet and clingy.
It's a soft.
Yeah.
There's the long straightaway, 13 to 14.
And we talk about it going uphill. You really see it there because, of course, it crosses over the track there. So there's that hump. Don't take off the way you used to take off in Cortina, mind.
Again, this is a very educated bobsled, skeleton, and luge crowd that attends these races.
Well, listen, how excited were they when Nico Valter, the hometown boy, got a bronze medal in the 2-man race? They're going to be ecstatic if he can hold his lead to take the gold. Altenberg, Germany, on a snowy Sunday morning. It's the 3rd stop on the FIBT Viessmann 4-man bobsled World Tour. Martin Haven, and alongside me, John Morgan, watching the youngest pilot in the field, Cody Basque of the USA, trying to improve on his top 10 finish from the first of our 2 heats.
Basque, 20 years old, from Whitehall, New York. posted the best U.S. finish yesterday, 7th. Pretty awesome, had the best start times, drove well, crashed in training twice. And boy, the first heat was not a great run here, but not a bad time. And again, for somebody who's never seen the track, he's done pretty good this week. And that's where he had his problems in the first heat.
Well, only Steve Holcomb of all 6 US drivers had ever driven on this track before. He's got 100th behind. Let's see if he can find some nice lines here.
Got quite a bit here. His number 2 guy, Aaron, the Surfman Victorian, he was sliding yesterday with Holcomb in the 2-man. And this shows you how the U.S. team's just trying to find combinations. Holcomb at the 13th best start. He's in 6th place, but if Holcomb had this start, he might be up in the top 5.
Yeah, they started 5:29 first heat, 5:22 in the second. They're eager to attack this track. 55.17, not the tidiest slide. He dropped 0.6 of a second to Adrianov.
Hey, rearview mirror, his first competition here. Cody Basket, you've had a great weekend, buddy.
Qualified for the race, got it down safely, all 4 trips. Okay, not tidy, but safe.
He does feel good about this.
Yeah.
Being in the rearview mirrors, what they all do. Here's the crossover 4 to 5. He's at 2 for 2 on mistakes there. Look at that collision. Not 11-12. Look at the athletes sitting there. They're pretty buried. Look how buried those guys are there. See, the U.S. team does a lot of work in the wind tunnels, getting the athletes to fit into the sled. Not bad, but this skid on the left side, this is dangerous. Look at him approach 13. Ooh, that's where you can roll into the curve. This is where Max Arndt crashed, the guy favored to win the competition in the first run.
Maxim Adrianov of Russia leads. And next up is Jan Verber of the Czech Republic. Bit of a giant killing act going on here for Verber. 9th after the first heat. 400s behind former Olympic champion Stephen Holcomb.
Not bad start. First run, 28. 10th best. 24. It's great to improve. This guy, pretty good speed at the bottom part of the track.
Decent Singer sled. There's a good bit of kit. Verber is getting better with every year.
He's only 400s away from Holcomb, who comes up next. We're only 2 miles from the Czech Republic. So this is their former home track. A lot of the guys now go to the easier track in Innsbruck and Winterberg and Königssee. Before, they used to have to come here because he was still behind the Iron Curtain.
Gap's coming right down. He's still on target for his best ever World Cup finish, but can he stay in his position?
He had a top 5 finish here 3 years ago in a completed field. He almost came to crash. He came back up.
How did that happen?
He came back up. Unbelievable.
Nearly rolled it in the same way that Max Arndt did, but the sled came back up for him. He gets a 3rd place finish, so he will still be in the top 12. Ivo Danilevich can't believe that. And you know what? The guys in the back of the sled can't either.
The track too tough to take. This is it. You're seeing it. The best guy in the competition crashes in the first heat. And this is the exact same lines that took Max Arndt, the favorite, out of the competition. But somehow, Weber and his team fractionally get out of here without being on their heads. This is within hundreds of seconds. Watch this. He's on the wrong side, like Cody Bescu just was. He's got to steer real hard. Now, when he comes off, he's got to come over. He's going to hit this right-hand wall over here, and that's going to throw the back end of the sled airborne. Now, watch the back end of the sled coming in here. See, the sled's airborne, and then he's going to roll in. He does. Max Arndt rolled in totally. Yes. Unbelievable.
That's a shot from a different run where he comes off the corner on the runners. We were not expecting that. I guarantee he was not expecting that either. Yeah, that's as close as you get. The whale spat Jonah out that time. He got away there by the skin of his teeth. Ooh, drama still. 8 to go. Here we go. This is Stephen Holcomb, former world and Olympic 4-man champion. What can he produce here?
Olsen, Clark, Kremen. Good athletes, they just haven't found the mix yet. 15th best start in the first run. Way better that time.
Yeah.
5:26, 800's better. Now Holcomb comes out with a good run here. He can put himself up in the top 5 or 6. Needs to be clean right here, coming up 4 and 5. He's got to get out of here without hitting the wall. He does.
Well, he was half a second down to the medals in the first heat. I'm not sure he's going to make that much up.
He's only 600s up. That's not a good sign there.
Yeah. Losing time to Maxim Adrianov.
Yeah, that's not good either.
Not as fast as the Russian sled either.
Perfect lines down here will give him a chance. Nah, he's down behind. He's down the Russian right now. So it looks like he's gonna, unless he finds some magic line.
Adrianov had 125.6 at the bottom.
No
Holcomb
speed at all.
hasn't got it. Rubbing the wall too many
Gonna
times.
fall at least one, if not two places.
3 spots, no, 2 spots back.
One spot. One spot.
Adrianov continues to climb the order. Wow, what a second run he had. Yeah, another Russian rocket. How many more do you think they're breeding back home?
Steve Holcomb, well, he got down, but he might have steered too much to get down. But on this track, you know, sometimes it's about, you know, you and the track, and you say, I'm just going to get down.
Don't steer, you don't get down.
Yeah, well, ask Max Arndt. Here's in the Kreisel. DKB comes down a little low on that, climbs back up. Good profile by the team. The Night Train 2 sled that bronze medaled last year in the Winter Olympics. Exit, taps a little bit there. That's some time, but his speed was already gone.
Yeah. Holke's raced here plenty of times. He'll come back again and give it another shot next year. Meanwhile, 7 still to go as Maxim Adrianov continues to lead here in Altenberg. Who is going to put him back in his box? A little bit of debris there, a bit of tape falling off something into the track.
Tape, it looks like carbon fiber, a piece of carbon fiber there.
Might well be right. It's off the drive lines, though. Justin Cripps for Canada now. First ever race weekend on this track.
28 start in the first run. They didn't get it. It's not smooth. 22, much better start, but watch the speed on the left. 49.9's good speed, so that mistake did not alter their start speed.
Think how much quicker they would have been with a smooth load.
Yeah. Not good there, though, 4-5. Justin Cripps goes to Königssee, Germany next week on the World Cup Tour. Königssee where he won the 2-man competition last year.
2 cents up on Adrianov from the first heat. The time is ebbing away, but not as quickly as with everybody else. Speed no better than Holcomb, but he got to the Kreisel quicker.
Time back.
Here we go.
Need to be perfect here.
125s at the bottom will help him.
This isn't good. Down to 9. Speed nowhere. Right to the 100th. This is going right to the 100th of a second.
And he's 100th in front. Adrianov is stopped in his tracks by the Canadians. Lyndon Rush high fives with Sven Bosch. And Justin Cripps, his first trip to Altenberg as a driver, he will end up no worse than 7th spot. You can't argue with that.
He'll take it. And I'm sure he's going to be very happy, wave to the mirror as he gets out of town here. Hey, Justin, not bad for your first 4-man race. Great athletes on that sled, let me tell you.
Well, you know, he's had 2 good trips down here in 2-man and in 4-man. This isn't a track that's going to hold much fear for him in the future.
As I said, great athletes in here, but they had a mistake getting in. Look at number 3 guy, falls into the sled. Cat-like movements to get in, but these guys are not house cats, they're jaguars, as we say, big cats. Here, look at a little airborne on the bottom right runner. He was trying to, and that caused him to be late here. Look at the aerodynamic profile there, very good.
Trying to let it fly. There's Cripps, 3rd from left. Our race leader, we have 6 to go. Oskars Kybarmanis of Latvia crashed in the last race in Calgary, Canada in the 4-man, but he had a standout first run. Fastest start in the entire competition, 5:10.
Let's see what these decathletes do this time. 5'11", consistency. This guy ever figures it out, the Latvians will have 2 superior start teams, and they have great equipment. Small little Baltic nation on the planet. They dominate bobsleigh, men's skeleton. The team is teammate coming up. Bardish leads the World Cup 2-man and 4-man.
This looks like he's a German. Look at these lines. Big skid. There's the first mistake. I cursed him into that, obviously. And it robs him of speed into the Kreisel.
Only a crash can prevent him from being the leader here at the bottom.
Good speed on the exit.
Here it comes. Watch out. And he's through there. Nice. Look at the rudder tips here. Nice. Speed.
125. Great speed despite that big skid into the Kreisel. He'll take the lead comfortably away from Justin Cripps. Look at that.
That's a big separation there. Janis Kippers, the famous coach, former brakeman with him. Janis, Sanders Prusis.
You see
Kippers was the other Latvia.
See the brakeman patting him on the head. They know when it's a good trip. They feel it.
Latvia, boy, they love their sliding in that country.
And rightly so.
He's a, watch out for him next 3 years. Into the Kreisel, out of the Kreisel here. Exit of the curves. It's like a slingshot effect to the bottom part of the track. Look at the back end come down. Kiebermans is in the lead. Cripps second. Andrianov third. We got a lot of sleds yet to come.
Alexander Kasyanov of Russia, 8th and 4th in the first two four-man races of the season. Let's see if he can produce something really special here and try and get into the medals.
He's tied with Rico Peter, the Swiss, who are coming up next. He went 10th in the first run. Peter went first. I gotta believe Kasyanov was one of my favorites in the competition. He's got a good chance to put one down here and challenge for the medals.
The start not as good as his young Russian teammate Maxim Andrianov. Lies in third spot at the moment.
Boy, he's 1,400s down. Wow, it's a lot of time. Gonna need to be perfect here. Not perfect. But down to 12. Huge speed. Now watch if he hits. He comes clean here on the exit. Oh yeah.
Oh, best speed we've seen in this heat. Here we go. 125 high at the bottom.
This is flying.
Closing.
5. He's got good speed. He's going to need it. This is another one too close to call. Right to the 100.
Gotta love how tight this race is. 300s behind.
Russians are not happy with that.
Well, he was a 10th slower on that drive than Oscar's Kibermanis. He was only 300s in front of him, 700s in front of him in the first heat.
Well,
so he loses out by 300ths of a second.
He got beat by 1,300ths of a second at the start.
Yep.
Which tells you everything. Boy, he had some good lines, though. This is 14. Look at this. This guy's, look at his eyes. He's one of the best. Start time deficiency, though, Alexander.
May well still leave here as third in the four-man World Cup standings. Tied for 4th place after the first of our two heats was Switzerland's Rico Peter. That's where he finished in the two-man race yesterday that was won by teammate Bernd Hefty. Can Rico Peter now push his way into a podium position? The Russians congratulate the Latvians. And the Swiss wait at the top of the track for their turn to take on Altenberg.
Go!
I'll tell the story in the first heat. Rico Peters, 4th place yesterday in the two-man, his best finish ever. Boy, has he improved. 5:18 start. His start times have really improved. And he's a chauffeur by profession. And he's got to chauffeur these guys to the bottom, and he'll have another 4th place finish, which should be shocking. Ooh, that wasn't good, though.
In the red behind the Latvians, 1200ths of a second behind, but
he went first in the first heat, so he had a big advantage of fresh ice.
He also produced some very decent speed, 1:16.1.
Ooh, that wasn't a good line there. Really high in the exit. Boy, but he's flying. Sometimes the rough lines are the fastest lines.
400s in it. Now he's in the lead and top speed. 125.9 kilometers an hour is sensational.
What a weekend for him.
Bang! Wolfgang into the lead, 54-46. That's a good run.
Wolfgang Stampfer, the Austrian, now coaching the Swiss. This guy is really, really improved in 1 year.
Well, he has got a handle on this track this weekend, hasn't he?
Wow, he was great in the North America Tour. You know, he doesn't have a start time. We used to say now he's got a start time.
7th in Lake Placid, 9th in four-man in Calgary. He's leading with 3 to go. Could there be a medal for Rico Peter this weekend? He was pleased with 4th yesterday.
I'm impressed.
Wow.
Great job, Rico Peter.
Now I'm saying 4th. Hang on a minute. Was he 3rd yesterday in the two-man race?
No, 4th. Nico Valter was.
So he was.
Yeah. Look at the lines. That wasn't smooth, but look at how straight the sled comes. Look at the energy. Look at the athletes behind him. Boy, eyes barely above the cowling of that Darth Vader face mask.
Ben Hefty's win yesterday, the first Swiss win on this track in 25 years. Now then, two German sleds in the top 3. Francesco Friedrich, the two-man world champion, junior double four-man world champion, 3rd after the first heat.
5:09 start.
Goodness.
Best start we've seen. 5:15 in the first run. And Friedrich is underachieved in the two-man and the four-man first run. This was one of my favorites. That type of start time, he told his guys, let's go for it.
Such a strong braking crew he's got. Look at the lead he's got.
This is statement run. If he gets down here smooth, little tap, still 34 to 34. He's not accelerating away.
Same speed as everybody else.
That was a waiver
into
there.
The Kreisel. Lower speed than everybody else off it.
Losing it back.
1800s up.
Wow, he's giving away all this time. Down a tree, he's not going to be the leader.
And he's not making mistakes.
Wow.
What has he hit? This is technique.
The Swiss are going to win a medal.
1300s back. First ever medal in four-man for Rico Peter.
What happened there? That's another perplexing run by the Germans on their home track.
3400s up out of the into the Kreisel, comes behind by 1300s.
Can't throw that time away. Something is.
He's not 2nd. He's not 3rd. He's 4th with 2 to go. That is runners. When the car looks good and doesn't hit anything and it's slow, it's tires or engine. We don't have an engine. His engine was fine at the start. That's runners.
Everything here is correct. Little tap. Look at the aerodynamic profile. We do see somebody back there. That brakeman's pretty big back there, but still
might
good
be worth
profile.
100th for the whole trip.
But,
yeah.
But look at the lines. Perplexing. To watch the articulation of the sled, how much it splits here.
Wow.
They're not bad, though. I mean, compared to some of them, he had some pretty good. Little skid here going into 13, but boy, to throw away 3400ths of a second.
He didn't throw it away. It just evaporated from the sled.
Like Kathleen Martini.
Like Martini yesterday. Wow. Now that's got to worry them with Nico Valter leading by a slender margin.
Wow, the Swiss. Congratulations to them for their.
Yeah.
I can't believe he's got his first medal ever on this
Rico
track.
Peter leads. Oscars Melbardis, our World Cup leader, 3rd and 1st this year in four-man, 2nd, 1st and 2nd in two-man so far. He's going to add another medal here for sure.
That's his if he doesn't crash. 5:16 in the start. First run, I didn't like that. He should be better than that. 5:09.
There we go. Yeah, baby.
And watch the speed, 50.8. He's almost a half a kilometer better in the second run than the first run. The start speed. Boy.
3/10 up on Rico Peter. At the next clock, it'll be nearly half a second. It's over half a second. What speed they get at the start.
3 decathletes and a basketball player in the sled. And all of them are about average 230 pounds.
Half a kilometre an hour quicker than anybody. Into the Kreisel. 118 on the exit. Bam!
Speed is one more albatross right here.
Insane. 126 at the bottom. This is going to be unbelievably hard to beat. Oskars Melbardis shooting for gold. He's going to lead comfortably.
Wow, faster in his second run than the first. Look at Sanders Bruce. Look at these guys. They know.
That
just
is
delivered the goods.
Insane. What a drive. This track rewards the great drivers, and you're looking at one right there.
Well, he's the best starter. Leads the World Cup 2-man in points, leads the World Cup 4-man in points. He will lead going into next week, no matter what happens.
Listen, Francesco Friedrich started the same time as Melbardis. Melbardis came down 54.05, Friedrich 54.72.
Look at this athleticism in and down by four huge men. Biggest, fastest athletes in the United States or the NFL. Biggest, fastest athletes in Latvia are in this sled.
Friedrich, the hometown boy, lost 2/3 of a second,
Perfect.
66 hundredths to Melbardis.
Look at this line.
Yeah.
Textbook.
Good as you'll see.
He's barely above the Callan.
So, Melbardis, is this going to be win number 2 of the season? Either way, he's in the medals. He leads from Rico Pater. 1 sled to go.
Put your seatbelts on. This is
Oh,
going to be exciting.
boy. If the hairs on the back of your neck aren't standing up, check your pulse to see it's still there. Nico Valter from Altenberg. Andy Bredal, Marco Hubenbecker, and Christian Poser behind him. This for Germany's first win of the weekend.
Hubenbecker 6'6". One of the rising stars in the German program, trying to deliver for the German team. He got a bronze medal yesterday in front of his friends and family. On his home track, his first medal of his career. Started sliding as a luge athlete when he was 6 years old. Switched to bobsledding a couple years ago.
Excellent first corner speed, just a fraction behind the Latvians.
His coach, Christoph Langen, told us to get into the night. He's a year away.
Gaps down to 600ths of a second. The Latvians 1:16.7 onto the Kreisel. The German sled 1:16.8.
Huge speed.
Come on, Nico Valter.
Perfect lines.
Germany expects he's a fraction slower off the Kreisel.
Ooh, airborne.
400s in it.
Still got 4. That's a good sign.
1:26.2, quicker than the Latvians. Can he hold it to the line? Is Nico Valter going to win? He does for the first time in his life. At home, the first win for Germany this weekend. Nico Valter, where did he find that speed that no one else could produce? Just wow. He has beaten the best of Germany. He has beaten the best of all comers. Nico Valter and his team. 5:14, an excellent start. And it was nip and tuck all the way down. Look at that. Fantastic run down the straight, and he dealt with the Kreisel best of all. Picked up more speed than anyone else, and that's what gave him the gold medal. Wow, a moment to cherish for those guys. Look at Hubi closest to us, Marco Hubenbecker. 6'6", yeah, only if he's got bent knees. Nico Valter wins by 400s from Oskars Melbardis, the World Cup leader. Rico Pater, his first ever World Cup medal, in 3rd place in the 4-man. Oskars Keeperman is 4th. What a big result for the Latvians. Alexander Kazyanov ahead of Francesco Friedrich, a disappointed 6th. Justin Krips 7th, take that every day of the week. And Maxim Adrianov, the Russian rookie, in 8th position. Max Arndt crashed out, going for gold in Heat 1. The pre-event favorite, perhaps, and he was concussed. He may not be racing next week in Koenigsegg, Bavaria. I would suggest that might be a little quick to be coming back into the sled. He looked very groggy. I think he was at least temporarily unconscious there. His first ever World Cup medal. Well, look at those guys celebrating, and we will catch up with them in a moment or two after this momentous win for young Nico Valter, the World Cup rookie. Well, Axel Jung just eased off the podium. Another Altenberg boy in the men's skeleton race yesterday morning. Fourth by just 300ths. Big fan club here supporting him, and they were cheering him to the rafters just for being that close to the podium. Then in the afternoon, Nico Valter claimed a bronze medal again. Family, friends, supporters, sponsors, everybody who's backed his career, who brought him to the track in freezing cold weather, who took him to the gym, who have supported him all the way. They were rewarded with a first ever World Cup medal. And now today he has added the superlative, the four-man gold. Bearing in mind he's 3 weekends into his World Cup career, Nico Valter. Very, very impressive young man. In fact, he's not. This is, yes, he is. He did go to Lake Placid and to Calgary, of course. A little bit of snow coming down here, but that won't disturb the fans at all. They have seen a German sled win in the four-man, the big four-man, the blue ribbon event. And Nico Valter, the leader, perhaps the surprise leader after the first heat. I tipped Francesco Friedrich as the German who was most likely to join Max Arndt on the podium. Looks like that cursed both of them out of the race. Arndt crashing out and Friedrich finishing only 6th. But Nico Valter caught up with him after yesterday's two-man race. He was just humble and almost speechless with surprise, perhaps, at what had happened, and was certainly looking to have a good day today, but I'm not sure he even dared dream about finishing on the podium, never mind winning this one. Young fans in Altenberg, Germany, getting themselves sorted for a four-man bobsleigh trip in the future. Oskar Smelbardis is our World Cup leader. 3 straight podium finishes for him. He's got a bronze, a gold, and a silver now. Alexander Kazyanov second, Rico Peter in 3rd spot as we head to Koenigsegg in Bavaria next week. Well, none of our top 3 will be even remotely disappointed with the action here in Altenberg this weekend. Our race winner, Nico Valter, bronze in the two-man yesterday, would have been a big enough result for him, but gold on home ice in the four-man, a stunning success. Silver medal for Oskar Smelbardis, very, very close to winning here again, just 400ths away. And maybe a couple of errors playing on his mind. Rico Peter, huge day for the Swiss yesterday with Bert Hefty winning the two-man, but Rico Peter, his first ever World Cup four-man medal with the bronze. He'll be pleased with that. And here the crowd, the reception they give to Nico Valter. You'll see a lot more of that smile, I have a feeling, during this season and future. Christoph Langen joined us for dinner on Friday, was saying Valter's maybe a year away from being, you know, really top-notch. I think he might have to speed up that schedule just a fraction. First World Cup win for Nico Valter comes in the four-man on home ice in Altenberg. Of course you'll say home track advantage. Of course you're right. He knows this track better than any other. But he's still got to beat the best. Great start from his crew. Very experienced lineup in the German brakeman operation now. Andy Bredau, Marco Hubenbecker and Christian Poser know their onions. And just flawless. This was a textbook drive from Nico Valter. Found the speed off the Kreisel. The flat line might be what helped him. And he accelerated away to victory. Let's hear from our top three now, some very happy men. Joining them is John Morgan.
Okay, now a bronze medal, a historic day for Team Rico Peter. What a great weekend for you.
Yeah, it's a great day, and this in Altenberg for the first medal. It's very good.
Congratulations, your team, great start times. Congratulations. Now over to Oscar Melbardes, the World Cup leader. The first run, the start time, not so much. Second run, great.
Yeah, first start was very bad, and also the run was not so good. And we tried to do the best in second run. Yeah, happy. Thanks.
Great drive, second run, World Cup leader. Wow. Team Nico Valter, wow. Could you imagine you could win this race?
Not yet, probably. It's just amazing. You can see there, they are crazy. I feel, yeah, it's just...
It's time for you to enjoy this moment. Congratulations on your first gold medal, Nico.
Thank you very much.
What a humble, cheerful young man Nico Valter is. From Altenberg in Germany, a first-time medalist in four-man, and his first medal is gold. I'm not sure he's going to look back on this day with anything other than the greatest of good memories. Well, Germany rebuilding, and they have found some very solid building blocks on which to do that rebuilding. Nico Valter wins here in Altenberg. We stay in Germany as next week we head to Bavaria, to Koenigsegg for World Cup number 4. And will the 24-year-old from Altenberg be able to feature in the medals? There's only one way to find out. Join us then. Till then, thank you from John Morgan and the rest of the team here in Altenberg for being with us. I'm Martin Haven, wishing you a good week. See you in Koenigsegg.